Today's guest and only human is Connor Mamula. This is the second episode that Connor and I are doing together, so if you missed the first one, I'm going to put a link in the top right-hand corner for you to go and check that out. Otherwise, enjoy the podcast. I think the episode that I started doing this was right after yours. So the question is...
Yeah, I think it was Taylor, right?
I think Taylor was the first person.
Yeah.
So the question is, and it's been a minute, so it's not going to be verbatim when I asked Taylor and them, but what event triggered your biggest personal revelation?
I was gonna say this was like one of like it took me so long to think about it, and like I had like obviously like big events, like first time you get in trouble, shit like that. But I literally like, I don't know, man. This is like kind of tough to like pin it on a nail. I think it's a combination of things, and I would say it was like a realization, like kind of like right out of high school-ish into college, like where you kind of realize like you're kind of on your own. If you fuck up, like it's gonna last on you for the rest of your life. It's something where you need to learn from your mistakes instead of fucking being young and dumb, which I'm continuing to be. But it was more of like a revelation where like your biggest lesson is your last mistake. That's something that like I always carry with me. And like, so like now, like going forward, I always look at it as like my next biggest lesson is going to be my next fuck up. And that's that's the thing it's like, because that's the only thing I have to like learn from. Because if I get an attaboy, I know I'm doing good. But when I fuck up, it's like, okay, I got to take a step back, rewind, like correct what I did, maybe like reanalyze the situation, whatnot. So I would say like, yeah, that's my corny answer. My last mistake.
Well, let me, because I like that a lot. How old were you when you like first adapted that?
Probably this year.
Okay.
That probably it would have been like, I don't know, not this year, not per se, but like the accumulation of all the events that like led up to like me getting off probation, like all the bullshit, like getting arrested, fucking charges like that, you know?
Okay. Yeah. It's okay. So the reason why I like that a lot is because when I started to like become self-aware, like one of the things that I thought about was how often and how much time I spent like dissecting other people's mistakes and being like, if I saw someone like fuck up or, you know, have some shitty life course, I would have been like, I would never do that. You know what I mean?
It's so easy to say. It's such an easy thing to off put and say. Like, yeah. That's why people are quick to judge, which I mean, we live in this, again, cancel culture fucking society where, I mean, someone fucks up. I mean, they're poster boarded. I mean, you got social media and all these different platforms where people can vocalize your fuck ups, but put yourself in someone else's shoes, dude. I mean, it really is a humbling experience because no one knows when the fuck it's going to happen to them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was one of those things because I always remember being like, the first time you get in trouble and like hanging around certain crowds. I remember like graduating and shit up from high school and thinking, I wonder who like the first like goody two shoe to get in trouble is. And that's like the one you hear about right away. Like, oh, this person got drunk and ended up in the hospital, or this person like, fucking dude. There's always the funniest stories. Like you hear those, like, and then, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean,
funny.
Like it's.
I do the Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. It's funny how like that just like in high school where something like that happens, and at a certain age, it's just like what is like the flavor of the month sort of story where like people are talking about it for like, you know, so long, and then now it's like if we heard something like that now, we'd be like, damn, like I hope they get their shit together. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
Oh, dude, literally, that's the response 90% of the time. It's like, are they all right? Like, I hope they're good. And, like, you get the occasional scumbag that's like, good, fuck them. But, like,
yeah, exactly.
Dude, I remember, like, literally, I think you were the person that would text me, like, bro, talk of the town. Like, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, dude, because actually one of the things that made me, and this is so funny, like, I don't even know why you're the source of, like, so many of my, like, changes, but I always think back at the headlight story, like the story where you...
Oh, dude, that was one of the fucking worst ones, yeah.
And for no reason...
Always turn your fucking headlights on, people. This is how I learned the hard way.
Yeah. So, but like that headlight story is like probably the first story where I like actually sat with myself and I'm like, why do I actually care? Like, why am I so passionate about the fact that Connor got caught with his headlights not on the road?
Well, it's because I was the first one that got caught with fucking weed in high school. Like literally like in our grade, pretty much. It was like on a public fucking platform to be like reprimanded. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Because I wasn't like typically before then I hadn't had that reputation or like that public reputation of like, oh, like smoky fucking dopey fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things that was like almost a shock, I would say. It was like I guess you could say
Yeah.
like a culture shock, I guess it would be
Yeah,
to
a
like
little bit. It was a
everyone
reality
around it.
check.
It
Yeah.
was a reality check, but like I mean, I remember like how fucking I mean, dude, I had like maybe like a couple grams of weed with me, and like I will keep the other two parties' names out of it because they have futures and their own shit going for them. But I had a couple buddies with me, but we had a couple grams of weed and shit, whatever. And like, dude, we just left Taco Bell. We're high as fuck. Didn't turn on my headlights. Like simplest thing. And then like cocky kids, you get caught. But like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm telling you, like literally a couple grams of weed. But this is the whole like fucking telephone story. I remember it got back to like one of my neighbors, like this fucking bitch mom, and like. I mean, it runs in the family, but again, I'm not gonna talk shit. But fucking literally, she literally said I was trafficking like a pound of weed from Twinsburg or something like that. And I got a kick out of it because like, dude, if I saw a pound of weed at that age, I probably would have shit my fucking pants.
That's
But
funny
like,
as
you know what I
shit.
mean? I know.
Yeah.
It was so funny hearing the stories that come back. But like, dude, it was like
Yeah.
traumatizing as a kid though.
Oh,
Like
I'd
I'm not allowed to,
imagine. I haven't even thought about that. Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to hang out with my friends anymore. I wasn't allowed to hang out with like certain like dude, it was literally the like and how much do you think that demonizes you instead
Oh
of
yeah,
like
you were
you already
villainized. Yeah.
yeah,
For
dude,
sure.
you already fucked up. And now instead of like doing your penance and making up for it, you're permanently fucked up. Like
Right.
you're permanently like it's like a social ranking. Like they take you down a tier. And, like
Right.
I do want to talk on that because I think that's gonna become a thing where it's actually fucking socially like grading people. I think that's gonna become like a they're
Yeah.
already doing it in China.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's already a thing.
It's a
Like,
social score. It's already a thing. I think that's gonna. Hopefully it doesn't, but I think that's something that's coming very soon in the United States. But
yeah, like I want to take it another direction, but before I leave that part is that I think it's also super damaging in a place like high school. So many people don't have the chance to talk to you, but they will be in the vicinity to be able to hear that story of you, and they won't be able to talk to you again. They don't have the opportunity to. So like they're gonna go throughout high school
dude,
thinking
there are
that about
so
you.
many kids I've met after high school too. They're like, dude, I always thought you were this like fuck. It was I've known kids that said they were intimidated by it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like they're like literally like the nicest fucking like the people who can kick my ass like. Fucking,
That's
they're
funny.
like just because of my reputation. I'm like, dude, I literally like I'm pretty much average Joe. I got caught with weed a couple times, but like
Wow.
I mean, like, you know how many kids get caught with booze though, and they don't get demonized because kids
That's
drink.
true. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, dude, these fucking boomers grew up in the '80s, like,
Yeah.
dude, like '70s, '80s. They're taking Sid and fucking smoking swag, and like they're gonna demonize us. Like, sorry, we got good weed now, like. But like they're like, oh, it's not like it used to be. Like, I always hear that one. I'm like, yeah, dude, but you're sitting there drinking your fucking fourth glass of fucking Tito's, like.
Yes, exactly.
It's hilarious. Yeah, that's a double standard. Hopefully, I think it's slowly like weeding its way out of society. Like
I agree.
the whole like demonizing of like marijuana, which is like
Yeah.
I'm amazed it took till 2021, but
yeah, and it
I think
happened
we're
quick too. Like it was
slowly
it
getting
was like
there.
very slow, then it was like it just popped off.
Yeah,
Like
because
that was like
I remember thinking after Colorado and California, like what I mean, it would like boom, like happen state by state by state right after that. But it's like no, I feel like it was like Ohio, and then like all the other states kind of started doing the medicinal thing, and then slowly everyone's like, it's cool.
Right. So but even with like psychedelics. But anyway, so the thing that I wanted to say,
we're gonna bounce around.
the thing that I wanted to say about the headlight stories that I realized then is that like there is like so many things. Like there was one little voice that I didn't listen to until like 4 years later when I was a sophomore in college, when I was like, the reason why I give so much of a shit about Connor's headlight story is because it gives me an opportunity to not think about like how insufficient I feel about like everything that I'm doing. You know what I mean? And I was like,
it's a distraction.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, let's fucking talk about Connor then, yeah. But
well,
like,
I think people use it as a way to measure how well they're doing too. And which is ironically, it's like that's why I think that we have so many shows like Hoarders and like Intervention and shit like that. I think people watch these shows to put themselves like make them. I know I personally have done it. Like Cops even. Dude, if you watch an episode of Cops, I think that's why getting high and watching Cops was like a fucking one of my favorite pastimes. Because I'm like, dude, glad I'm not that guy. And like, it's funny because you can sit back and laugh at it, but like once you're in that situation, like that's the most traumatizing fucking thing that can happen to you. And like, I don't know, dude, but that's like a thing we benchmark ourselves. We measure ourselves off of other people. And I think it takes an extremely, not only like mentally intelligent, but mentally strong person to like put themselves in someone else's shoes, but also not to fucking, I mean, everyone's opinion is going to change, obviously, and be weighed on that, but like to take it lightheartedly, I should say.
Yeah, and it requires a lot of practice too.
Oh, it takes a ton of practice. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It depends and again, I think it's a culture shock thing, like how much you're surrounded by it. Like, I mean, if I'm like, in a church group every week and I get arrested, it's gonna be one thing. But if I'm in fucking like Hudson biker gang, like I don't know, you know what I mean? And then like
Yeah.
I get arrested, and then I'm in the drunk tank with my like 3 like compadres, like Joe and Bob, you know what I mean? It's like it's a normal thing. Like it's
Yeah.
a certain thing, like there's certain normals, and I think we grew up in a town where that wasn't a normal thing. Like it wasn't fucking Stowe where you hear these like fuck, I mean what they had the Craigslist killer and like all these like crazy shit happening, you know,
Yeah.
like
We're nothing
the,
like
we
so.
were the yuppies, bro.
Damn. So yeah, I mean, like it's one of those things where I think the moment, like what you're talking about, like if you have that mindset, it's sort of what I experienced in that, like if I caught myself judging someone, I would immediately say like I need to think about one thing. The first thing that I can think about insecurity wise is what like I'm most insecure about, and I need to like go and like face that instead of facing like this person in the external world that has nothing to do with me, and their
Right.
trajectory has nothing to do with me, and like all
Like
those other things.
how can I be productive with this information?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So it's
It's
like
it's like yeah. But you
the
know, then again, everyone's gonna do their own thing at the end of the day. It's I don't hold
yes
any person higher or lower, and if they want to take information and run with it, I think that I mean, it clues me in on like how people are as like an individual,
yes
and like I think I look at it as a I mean again I just like kind of it depends on like how people treated me in those situations
yeah
going forward. Everyone that's treated me the same, I'm still in touch with. Like you know what I mean? There's nothing's changed, but there's like
yeah
and there's also people that fucking learn from my mistakes. Like you said,
yeah
fucking I mean, it's a good thing though. I think again, and I like that's the biggest thing. Like learn from them. Don't be afraid of it. Like let them happen. They're a good thing.
yeah like
Your
it
best,
was
your best. That's why I literally took. I take something. I just saw Read Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. I don't know if you heard
I
that.
bought it but I haven't read it yet.
Fucking phenomenal, and get the audio version too because it's Matthew McConaughey and him reading his
Okay.
own book is pretty badass. But dude, I caught myself like 5 times today, like doing that same thing. Go green light, and like literally like, but it was like I had roadblocks.
Wait, what does that mean?
Well,
Green
it's
light.
like taking like it's like getting a signal saying like go ahead and go with it. Like
Oh, I see.
it's
Okay.
your go ahead. So it's like all right. So like when you if I fuck up, it's like okay, green light. Like here's like all right, there's my go to. Like how do I fix the situation?
That's cool.
And then once I get past that situation, I'm like oh green light on to the next one. Like and then I got that fixed. So like I like several scenarios today where like 2 of my secretaries couldn't or our secretaries should say for our company were having an issue, and it was all communication. It was the like lack of communication between 2 parties. But it gave us like once I kind of defogged the confusion, gave us a green light to go ahead with what we were doing and continue with our project we were working on. It was a accounting project, but I was like one of those things where I was sitting there, I'm like showing like, but it was perfect, something you could relay, but it was a mistake that was made that ended up learning from it, and boom, green light.
Yeah, that's cool. What do I want to say to that?
Yeah, Patrick's a panic. Got me onto that. The kid freaking he comes out. Yeah, shouts out Patrick. I swear I was sitting in my freaking having my pity party, my COVID pity party in my basement, and that kid makes me he's like, hey, we're gonna listen to audiobooks. I'm like, what the fuck? No one ever does that. And I was like so motivated that day. We got so
Hey,
much
you guys
shit done.
listen to audiobooks in your basement?
Dude, we sat down and he was doing business calls. I was doing my business calls. We listened to fucking audiobooks. And like
Damn.
it was literally, dude, one of the most productive days I had in weeks, and literally like inspired me like fucking to get off my ass. So like shouts out
Well,
Patrick. Thank you.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good friend right there. If your friend gets you off your ass and gets you motivated, good friend.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, but like the whole like just to like circle back to like your original point about your most recent mistake, it's that I feel like the things you're saying about like that mindset and then you talking about green lights is a control issue, because like the number one thing that like I've felt that has changed like my trajectory is the fact that like if you don't give up, then like you will succeed by definition, you know what I mean? So it's like being not like I would say demotivated by mistakes is I guess it like an impedance to your success, but it's like what you just said, it's like if you are mindful enough to catch those things in real time, then you can transmute that into gold like instantly. And I think that's like some modern alchemy shit. I mean, it's like alchemy, it doesn't have to be modern, but for us right now, it's alchemy, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, you take a negative, turn into a positive. Simple as that. I mean, you're putting something out there that's it's better than what you got. Like I don't know. You got to twist things. That's your whole outlook. And I think that another good book is The Secret. I'm telling you, I never thought at 24 years old I'd be sitting here talking to you, telling you like fucking go read this book. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's something I'm telling you. Reading's been one of the most life-changing things that I picked up in the
Yeah.
past year.
And I think
But
that sorry.
and it's no, you're good. I didn't cut out there, but yeah, it's helped me. I think that a combination of that and like obviously past mistakes and stuff, and like all my life experience leading up to like where I am now. I mean, it all accumulates and kind of you draw to certain conclusions, and like this is like the most recent one I've probably come to, but like
Mm.
I mean, it's been life changing, really, like going forward.
Yeah, I think I want to say this about The Secret because I know so many people, and Patrick and I sort of talked about this in his, but the thing about The Secret is that people see it and they hear about it and they think that it's like, you know, you drawing energy to yourself and you like actually creating things, but it's really a mindset of you like constantly being like hyper aware of things that facilitate your like success and things that like are irrelevant. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. Yeah.
So
No,
it's not magic.
it's everything you bring to the table, and I mean, naturally, even the people, like the energy is like matched. It's kind of weird. You use the term energy. I mean, like physical energy. Like, so if you're
Right.
like for example, you're out at a party. If there's two people that are being loud, odds are they're being loud together. The person being loud isn't hanging out with the person who's next, like sitting in the corner looking at their cup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like two different types of energy. Like they kind of come together. Like it's just like,
Yeah, I feel
and the
that.
way, and I think that like even people conversating, you have a group of people. I mean, there's people that take shit and twist it, half or a cup half full, cup half empty. And I know a lot of people that can't stand being around negative people, and they
Yeah.
like know, and they characterize that person as a negative human being. I have a lot of friends
Right.
that are like that, and I have to take them in doses, dude. Because if I'm
Yeah.
around them too much, I get like down. I start feeling a little kind of like ugh.
Yeah, I don't
Like
like the way like they make me feel like, and it's residual. Sorry.
exactly, and it's not something they do intentionally.
Yeah.
It's like it's their outlook on life, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, if that's their outlook, you can only you can influence it, but you can't change it.
Yeah. And I feel like that's one of the things that because it's so simple, but what you're proposing is that like the people like how like your energy match physical energy, whatever you want to call it, and like you can just tell if you don't like being around someone and if you do like being around someone, and like I forgot exactly what you said. I was gonna go off of that, but like take your example for Patrick. Like you guys had that like interaction where you guys listened to audiobooks and you had like a super productive day.
Oh,
And
dude, yeah.
yeah.
Every time I'm around the kid though, that's like, I mean, he's one of my buddies I see like once or twice a year,
Mm,
But like literally every time we hang out, productive, like proactive, hanging out, like all positive, go on hikes, like you know what I mean, it's
yeah.
productive shit. And
Yeah.
like that's one of those things. Always think of that person. Always pops up in my head as a positive person. My buddy David, David from Nordonia, he literally is the same way. Dude's always positive, always go go go, high energy person. Like I mean, they're some of my favorite people to be around, honestly. Like
Yeah.
because they're always positive. Like, and I think
Yeah.
that's an awesome. Like, I think it's a great character trait to have. Like, and
For sure.
I don't. And I think there is such a thing as fucking being like too positive or like too like
Yeah.
fake. I'll call it.
It is fake. I was
I'll
gonna
call
say
it
it's fake
fake.
because those dudes are
I'll call it
authentically
fake.
positive.
Yeah, because and I do want to like clarify that. Like, I'm being 100% authentic when I'm saying this. I'm not saying like fucking like I'm not sitting here rubbing my quartzes and like praying to fucking my lunar gods and shit. Like, I'm not into that. Like, I'm just purely saying like just be positive. Like have
Yeah.
a positive outlook, the way you think, the way you act, the energy you have. If you want to be negative, be negative. But I don't think it
Yeah.
has
But
any. I really do think that like no one gains anything from sitting in a negative space. It's
yeah,
and ironically that's why it has it
and I think
coined
this
term
might be
negative.
like a like a weird take, but like I feel like the people who are in those negative like spaces, like speaking from my own experience when I look back to myself, is that it's sort of like not an addicting thing, but there's like a sort of like thrill or a rush in like
Oh,
being in a negative,
it's
you
an
know what I mean?
emotion. It's an
Yeah.
emotion. Yeah, you're
So you
getting
feel
some.
that all the time. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So it's like
it's an
activity.
opposite. Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
it's what would you call it? I mean, I don't know the chemical imbalances, but I'm sure there's some shooting around. It's releasing some sort of something in your brain that's causing you to obviously feel that way, and it's some
Right.
people enjoy it.
Because you
Like I
get to
mean,
be pissed. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'd
yeah,
like to be pissed right now.
dude,
But
I
it's
know
like,
some people that like that sad boy music. I can't stand listening to that.
yeah,
Like
dude, neither can I. Fuck
little
that.
Peep and like fucking Xavier. Like I don't know like the exact artist, but like the sad Suicide Boys stuff like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't listen to that shit if you fucking paid me to. But like
Yeah.
literally, I know some people that love it, and like they're not always negative people, but like they tend to be like on the sadder side. Like, but
Yeah.
I think it also is a coping mechanism for some that they like
Oh,
to
for
be
sure.
sad. Yeah, and if that's the case, like I mean, I've been there, totally, definitely
Yeah.
been in dumps before, but I don't know. I like being on this side more. You know,
Yeah. Same.
I like, you know what I mean? Fucking Chip Skylark, my shiny teeth to me, and fucking, I like being happy, dude. It's fucking good feeling. Like I don't,
Yeah.
it's just like why worry about shit and have to dwell on shit.
It
Life could
does
be so
take a
much easier.
conscious. It takes a conscious effort though to like switch over to that side because you have to like sort
Oh,
of
it's not
push
easy. Yeah.
yourself. You know what I mean? There's like an
Oh, you do.
acceleration you
Yeah.
have to do.
It's so easy to fucking. I think it's easy to be negative. I think it's harder to be positive.
Yeah.
But
But like
once you get rolling, it's easy.
exactly, there's a momentum to it where it's like you
There's a momentum
basically.
switch because, dude, I could fucking sit down in my room all day long, close the door, and fucking just like bask in like just being a scumbag, like not getting up, not doing anything, not contributing, just like kind of wasting away, withering away. That's the way I feel like it is. I
Yeah.
just feel like it's a bad use of my time. I couldn't be helping other people around me too, like using my like time to do that, like my parents or whatever, my grandparents, someone else, like
Yeah.
friends, whatever it can be. I don't know. Got fucking 24 hours in a day. There's a lot of things you can do that could I mean, fucking from making your bed to going and helping someone take out their trash or doing anything. I mean, fucking
Right.
make your day a whole lot better. Like,
And the thing about the like the too much positivity or like the toxic and authentic positivity is that like I've also been through that stage where I've been doing things like
well, then you swing. Then you swing hard the
yeah,
opposite way.
because you're like resentful about the entire thing. You're like, I don't want to be productive, but I'm gonna do it because it's the positive thing to do. And it's like that's when it was like I
And you're
swung
putting
back
on this.
super hard.
Yeah, you're like taping that smile up, and then yeah,
Yeah. So
you come to
it's
realize like yeah, no, you gotta fucking get inspired somehow. You gotta inspire yourself.
yeah.
Get some kind of motivation. Kick yourself in the ass a little bit. Like
Also,
make
it's
yourself yeah.
like the people who like you're around. Like it shouldn't be like a time issue. Like it should just be like at the end of the day, if like this person like doesn't make you feel like I want to say your best self, like someone doesn't make you feel like
I've been doing
empowered to like do your like
yeah.
own shit, then that's that. Like it's not. It's definitely 100%. It's not worth it. I can tell you
I
from
want to
like
ask you. I'll ask you this too.
yeah.
That's a good talking point to get on. So I've noticed like I've been doing this recently because I would say like one of the biggest things I like going on like being positive and stuff is cutting out hate. I believe like not dwelling on shit.
Yeah.
So I cut out all like I don't believe I have a single fucking hateful feeling towards anybody in this entire world. Like I'm sure I don't like certain people or disagree with certain people, but I wouldn't say I hate a specific group of people or any, you know what I mean? There's nothing I just hate. Like I wake up,
Right.
I'm like fucking hate this. Like, but what you call it? Like I hate the hiccups. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
one thing I hate. Like I will say I fucking hate the hiccups. Like hiccups fucking suck.
Yeah.
But the one thing I did start doing is like even people that I considered friends, I just stopped hanging around them altogether. Like if I
Yeah.
couldn't draw a single thing out of that relationship that like was a positive, and like
Mm.
I felt like I was giving a lot, I kept giving and like giving and giving, and the point where like, and not only the fact that like I needed something in return, but to a point where I was like draining me, then I was just
Yes.
like
Yeah.
boom, I would just cut it off. Like, and it wouldn't even be in like a mean way, like ghosting someone or like not talking to them, but I would just like politely or I mean we might have a blowout, whatever it might be, but I know one
Mm.
person we did, but like just kind of just go separate ways, dude.
Yeah.
Everyone like you do your thing, and it doesn't really need to be like a big deal, you know what I mean? But it's just been
Yeah.
I've been doing that with like a couple people here and there every month or so, like, and then like I mean new people come in, like it's just the
Yeah.
good replace the bad. I truly believe.
No, I 100% believe that too. Like this is like so I have a chemistry background, so like I always think about chemistry shit, and so it's like everything comes down to um like and this isn't like 100% equivalent to like human interactions, but like if things are meant to if like elements are meant to be together, they'll have like very low like potential energy. Like if something's in a certain state, if it's in like the lowest possible potential energy, it's most likely that that state is the most stable. So it's like if I think about my relationships and after I like don't hang out with someone and I'm like constantly thinking about like the interaction, about like what that might mean for me in the future, like I think that is like not a stable thing. And like it's easy to discern between like was that just a single thing, but there are people who are like systematically like they can leave you like overthinking and like just anxious when you like stop talking to them, or like anxious when you do
Dude,
talk to
I've
them.
cut out like every single person that leaves me like that. I'm
Yeah.
not even joking. And then it
And
literally, and it was as simple as like just stop talking to them.
yeah. And so like the one thing that like I always thought was that like, well, like
Dude,
I've
that's
been
the best. Dude, you literally like that hits it on the like head to a T.
yeah.
Like the people that I'm literally closest with, I could literally like I don't even say bye to. I'm like, oh, they left. Like we'd be hanging out. Like I don't even like they get up and just walk out or something. Like Irish
Yeah.
goodbye. But you don't worry about it. That's like,
Yeah, no,
all right.
exactly.
It's
Like,
like, oh, I'll see you in a week. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like that comfortability almost. It's
yeah. Like I have no issue. Like if you didn't respond to a text, or if we didn't talk for like a month, and
oh
then we
yeah, no,
did talk, like I wouldn't feel wronged at all. Like I wouldn't feel like you did something wrong or I did something wrong. It's like that's just the nature of it. But there are
right.
people who you're like you're not like walking on eggshells per se, but like there are certain like
You're
expectations.
hesitant. Yeah, you're hesitant. You're
Yeah.
like, yeah.
So
Or
like
you're
both like yeah. So it's like there are, and I feel like that issue is normally when people like there aren't mutual boundaries. Like you and I
well,
both have like pretty clear
I feel like that's
boundaries.
I feel like that's a natural human thing too, and I think it's almost a brain taking a precaution, and it's like
Hmm.
you're like kind of uh your conscience almost like saying like in the background saying like, all right,
Yes.
fucking like watch out a little bit. Like, all right,
Yeah.
obviously there's something that doesn't feel right. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Regardless of what you're like, how you describe it or what you want to refer to it as, whether it's chemistry or whatnot, you could it
Mm.
just something doesn't feel right. Whether it's your gut or, I mean, there's so many different, I'm sure, analogies and descriptions people have used for it.
Yes. And I
But
don't think intuition is like ever wrong, especially
oh
regarding like
no,
friendships. So like I'd never ignore like there's like I went years, and like this goes to like romantic relationships too, where like you know that there are red flags that you're avoiding, but you're sticking through it. But like the entire time there's like either like a pit in your stomach, or like there's like a psychosomatic response where it's like you have this pain, or like all these
and
things because you're dealing
I
with
think
this.
that's a human like the biggest human fatal flaws. Like sometimes we'll stick with it, and I think that's fucking denial.
Yes.
Like a lot of times it's like our inability to realize and like accept those like risks. Like when they're like because that's
Yeah.
essentially what they are is it's a fucking risk. Like you know it's a risk. That there's a
Yeah.
possibility that this is gonna happen. Like you have enough like certainty that this is like an outcome of the situation.
Yes. Yes.
So I mean it's how you like kind of ascertain and like your ability to deal with that risk. I don't know. I
Yeah.
kind of like I kind of live like a low risk, but like I like I don't know. It's different. I made my social life super fucking low risk, like
Yes.
absolutely low risk as possible, and then like the rest of my life high risk. I like it like, but it's weird.
Because
Like if
yeah,
like
I want my relationships to be
financially,
stable, like so I don't
yeah,
blame you at all.
like
It's like
I like to gamble. I like to fucking like you know what I mean. Like I like
yeah.
to smoke. I like to like I don't like I mean like I like to like you know what I mean. I like to party. Like even like with my health even sometimes like you take those risks. You take
Yeah.
there's certain things and it's all I think it's all well balanced and like how you like
Yeah, like I
put
don't
it
want to have
put
to
it
like
together.
have go through the shit that you're talking about, and then like
You can
at
be
the end of the
stressed the
day,
fuck out. Yeah, like
I don't want at the end of the day to like go to a friend and then have them be stressful and them like using something that I said to them and like in confidence like against me or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't
oh
want to
yeah,
have to like. So I want that like portion of my life to be as stable as possible, so I can like go home and like
definitely,
actually like,
definitely.
even if it goes down to people who like won't get excited if you like come to them with exciting news, or like if you come to them with
Dude,
like bad news.
that's like fucking I love that you just said that because like literally I have friends like that now. And like we literally like I sent a video out, it was like from 4 years ago. I was at some house party and like this dude pulled a gun out and like it was
Right.
like super visible, like thought someone was trying to rob him. It was from 4 years ago. I sent it to like 10 people or whatever. It was like a memory on Snapchat. And like I think of like all of them, like maybe one person who I wasn't as close to responded like, "Whoa, what the fuck's going on?" Everyone else was like, "Haha," or like, "LOL." But most people would like, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's just like normal."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just something stupid he sent me. But like the one person I actually wasn't that close to, like just been hanging out with recently. But then they fucking like, they're like, "Holy fuck!" Like freaked out. But I'm like, I thought it was just a funny video.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but like, and then like, there's certain people like I'll call. Like I know Liam, like he's like this all the time. He's like, what now? Or like, you know what I mean? Like they don't get too excited or like, but
Yeah.
he's like one of those funny ones. Because I would say he's one of my pessimistic friends, but he like gives me a positive outlook. He's just a funny fucking dude. But
Yeah. It's I love Liam, that's for sure.
he's my balance, dude. I swear to get that guy, that kid is my balance. He like because he's definitely super pessimist, and I think he would
Well,
admit to that.
the thing that
And
I
he
like
likes
about it
He is the
Huh?
most positive pessimist I've ever met in my entire life.
Well, I think it's because like I just know that that's actually who he is, and he's not trying to be like a sad boy. So it's like I know that like Liam is
Exactly.
actually like this, like Edgar
Yeah, but
Allan
he's
Poe.
just a good person. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I can be around you because I know that you're not gonna yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're not gonna like stab me in my sleep, but like, dude, yeah, like, you're a good dude. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I don't
That's
know. I
fun.
mean, it's a big deal because I know like how it affects my like if it affects my physiology, it affects that mindset that we are talking about earlier. Because like if you are thinking about like you have like a task at hand that you want to get done, but like 20% of your mental space is getting it's usually more for
Preoccupied.
me. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you're not putting your best foot forward, and it's like, well, why are you even jugging this friendship in the first place? Because it's like
Dude, it's
it's not
so
worth it.
unhealthy. It's so unhealthy, and it
Yeah.
really is. And and what that really is codependency. I mean, you're
Yeah,
really
no, it
like
is.
it's creating a codependency where like that relationship can't function without one or the other being like present, and
Yes.
it's not healthy. It really isn't healthy, and fuck, that's where I think we see so many divorces and shit nowadays.
Yeah.
Because people develop a codependency and like getting away from that. Like, dude, I had friends that there was definitely like that. Like, you know, like the buddy that like always likes to drive or like whatever, and like so you start using it as an excuse to get fucked up or like, and then
Mm,
like you know what I mean. There's so many situations you could put it in, like, or different situations you could
right.
portray it as. But I mean,
Like
just realizing it, addressing it, and fucking
yeah.
fixing the problem. But realizing it's the hardest part, and then like
And then
realizing that
admitting it, yeah, it's like
it does exist, admitting that it does exist, and not fucking like sitting there and be like, oh nah.
yeah, it's not that bad. Like it might
Yeah,
be
it's not that
codependent,
bad.
but
Like,
it's
yeah,
not
no,
that bad.
dude,
Yeah.
listen to yourself. Like, if you turn off all like the fucking noise in the room, like give it 5 minutes and just sit there, and if that thought pops in your head that you like were maybe double or second guessing or questioning, like probably a bad thing, or like maybe it's a good thing. It could be both good or bad. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's something that that you're dwelling on, or it's like it's sinking on you, or like weighing heavy on you, you got to address
Yeah.
it. Stop pushing it back further. I think that's what people like to do. Like I can't even talk.
For quack.
Procrastinating a fucking emotion that hasn't like
Yeah.
truly fucking evoked itself
And
yet,
that
you
doesn't
know?
go away either. The emotion stays. And it
Yeah, it
develops into
stays and
sickness if you don't
it
yeah.
develops into something called anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
Fucking alcoholism and
Yeah, because
all these
actually,
awful things that like people don't realize that ruin your life.
yeah, like I know that you can probably relate on some level, but I'll say like my story when it comes to like me eating food is that like I knew like not from the jump, that's for sure, but I knew like when I looked back that from the jump, eating food was a way to like mask my emotions. Period. Because when I ate food, I didn't feel any of my emotions. I felt good from eating the food, and so it's like if I was eating like mostly 24/7, then it's like I don't need to feel these things. But then like it came to a head, like I had to confront all of those things, and I've been doing like I'm confronting like for the past 3 years, I've been confronting like 20 years worth of like stuff that's being masked from me. Because the thing about, like being like morbidly obese off rip is that like I've developed like a coping mechanism for life. I feel like before other people developed like smoking weed or like drinking. So it's like I was sort of like not set up for failure, but like my life was like molded around that. So like understanding how much the buried emotions will manifest themselves in like bodily pain or like mindset, like mental illness, any of those things, like I make sure with like the most urgency that I address things as they come now, because I'm like I can't let this like slide.
Well, what they turn into is I think that's why you see in the medical field too, the terminology is the attack. You have the panic attack, the heart
Oh
attack,
right.
the too much stress, the too much anxiety, that you know what I mean. There's things that build up and build up and build up, or like I mean, you have like those people who are have like the really bad depression where like it'll suddenly they'll hit a switch and like they just like are
Right.
sleeping in until like 3 o'clock every day, and like I mean it's scary how like if you don't address things as they build up, and like I've seen it with family members because I have like my family definitely has a history of anxiety and depression. Like
Mm.
I'm one of the few people, like I mean I've definitely like experienced it in small, not to the extent that like others have, but I mean you can see like when people who haven't been addressing it and pushing it off, they
Yeah.
really fucking hit a wall. And like
Oh yeah.
when it's close to home and you live with someone, you can see when their behaviors change.
Yeah.
And like, dude, it's a huge like red flag when you see like, I mean, fucking sleeping in, like not like taking care of yourself. You just see hygiene go out the window. You see like, I mean, it's crazy how much your everything in your life kind of flips upside down. Like it really
Yes.
does change like every part of your like living.
Yes.
from day to day.
Even going down, because like I think like I like going like hanging out with friends or like going to a party or like not like transformative experiences, but you go to like parties and you meet people and like you talk to new people, and just going out that one night can shape your life because you meet someone new or like you like had like some funny experience. But like when you're a little bit depressed, sometimes like I'm not gonna go out tonight. You know what I mean? Not a little bit depressed, I shouldn't say that. Like when you do enter these like depressive episodes and it does affect you, just to like miss one night of like going out and meeting new people when if you did
rolling over. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Pulling the covers over your head and saying like "poor me" almost, and
yeah, like even one opportunity that it gets mitigated from you neglecting like all of that.
could be an opportunity that changes your life.
Exactly. So it's like now it's like I think about that, I'm like, oh shit, I can't
Well,
miss this now. Cause yeah.
well, my favorite fucking quote of all time is when luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Oh yeah.
And
I saw that in
I think
a Stevo podcast somewhere.
yeah, that's my
Yeah.
favorite quote of all time, and it's so true. It really is. Look at how many people say, oh, "You're not going to get your dream job overnight." Literally, that shit happens. Like it's literally like that simple. It could be as simple as you're in the airport and you bump into someone. Like,
Right.
I mean, it's taking that chance, taking that trip, like going having like go do stuff. Like, I mean, that's a good thing. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like that's a huge thing is like getting coddled up and like that agoraphobia almost like you're stuck in your or afraid to leave your home.
Yeah.
And
Like
like I actually quit drinking as much, and that's something I want to touch on. That's why I'm smoking here. Well, now that I'm allowed to again, which is I think a fatal flaw with our court system.
would you
Um,
be banned for life?
yeah, I know, right? They like, yeah, they want you to drink instead of smoke. That's fucking hilarious. It's fucking beyond me. But it's one of those things, dude. I've gone out now without drinking, offered to drive or whatnot, give myself responsibility, and gone out and like, dude, it's literally like I had just as much fun going and played
Okay.
pool or find a way to like subsidize drinking or like because I mean realistically you're not gonna go, I know myself I can't go out and just have like a beer like if I'm drinking I'm gonna have like a 10 so but it's like it's nice to like change it up every once in a while, you know.
Yeah. Because
And
what
like
you
not
said last podcast was probably like the most important thing, and like I was trying my best to do it, but then after our podcast, like I've been on a roll. Is that you talk about like balance, and that is huge. Like it comes down to every single substance, every
100%.
activity. Like if you balance your life out. One of the counselors that I had a few years ago, she said that life is like a tightrope, and you can only walk forward if you're balanced. And I was like, it's weird because like if I hunker down and I am like super productive, I get like super far in this, but like
yeah, you could fucking hang from that tightrope. It's not gonna be a fun walk, but
yeah. So it's like every single moment where I was like, I'm gonna put all my eggs in this basket because I know this is gonna lead me here. I've either like burnt out super quick or I like sacrificed so much in like my periphery that
and
like
got very little out of it.
yeah. So it's like I always sing about that balance, that tightrope thing, and I'm like, especially after you talked about it, like
That's
it's
true
just
though.
it's
I mean,
yeah.
you hear the you hear the term, dude. You get the aholic, like you get the smokeaholic, the alcoholic,
Oh right.
the workaholic. Like I feel like all these fucking like everything starts making sense. You hear it every day, and it's like, dude, it literally is like there's literally every fucking like definition for it. Like you have the panic
Yeah.
attacks because you're too worried all the time. Your alcoholism, you're drinking too much. You gotta
Right.
balance your shit. It's simple as that. Like there's time for everything. You got to make time for yourself. You got to make time for your friends and family and social time. You got to make time for work. You got to make time for like, I mean, it literally is. It takes years and years to master. And I don't think anyone ever reaches that like peak fucking perfection because there's too much variables. I mean, there's too much shit that happens on a day-to-day basis. I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say like we probably like try our best, but I guarantee you we fail like 50%
right.
of the time.
But dude, that's the thing. You gotta like. I think that's what like probably makes it happiest. Is just fucking going home and saying like, I tried my best.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's being able to say I tried my best. Like, and like I don't know, like you watch ever Dazed and Confused? I'm sure you have. It's like
No.
fucking. You never seen Dazed and Confused?
No.
It's an A1 classic. I mean, absolutely fucking gem of a movie.
Okay.
But there's a quote in it, and I want to find it. It's towards the end of the movie. Yeah, here it is. Dawson. He's one of like the goofy characters in the movie. But this is like kind of a synopsis on like the whole situation of being like stuck in high school. But this is kind of a synopsis of like life I kind of looked at when I heard it. Like I was
Okay.
fucking high in high school watching this movie and like obviously having like overthinking every little scene because I'm like, there has to be more, bro. Like fucking. But all right, so the quote goes, well, all I'm saying is that I want to look back and say that I did the best I could while I was stuck in this place. Had as much fun as I could while I was stuck in this place. Played as hard as I could while I was stuck in this place. Dodge as much girls as I could while I was stuck in this place. And then he starts laughing. But I'm like, yeah, dude, that's so true. It's just like going your hardest, like doing your best, like while you're fucking here, while you're on this fucking, you got however many fucking years to live.
Yes.
What are you gonna do with them?
Yeah, I hated hearing stuff like that up until like I would say like 5 years ago, because I've always had like this really defeatist external locus of control where I was like, well, I can't do that, and like I was like wishing for things to happen. But it's like that stuff is like,
yeah, it like pumps me up now. It makes me want to run through a fucking brick wall, dude.
Exactly.
I love that shit now. I feel the same way, Christian, because I used to hear that stuff and it would defeat me, and now I look at it and like, dude, my one buddy Zach, he like inspired me a lot too. Like even when it comes to construction, because he even if it comes to like, me and him have gone to like certain like jobs or projects, like not for like big clients, but just like little side work where we've never done it before. Like this one job we were laying brick and we're doing cement work that we've never done before or never experienced before or ran into. And he goes, you have any idea what you're doing? I'm like, nope. He goes, but we figured it out. And we both went into it with a positive attitude, fucking perfect kick-ass job. Like everything like turned out awesome. Like, but dude, it's like all about how you tackle something and saying like, I can instead of I can't.
Yeah.
Like I will, or like instead of maybe, yes. Or like change up your verbiage, change up how you address like the issue. And like, it really is how you like talk about it, how you physically address it. And like everything that surrounds like the way you talk about something, or like whether it's like going to do something or like a person, thing, idea, it really is the way you address it is how it's going to be brought up in your life, either good or bad.
So I think like it's when you like that story that you just said is that like when you go into that like I'll say like that test, because you guys like you were confronted with like an obstacle and it was up to you to like decide how you're going to move forward. And it's like when you decide to do that and you don't give yourself any outs, like it's almost like your body releases endorphins to like help you get through any pain or like,
oh, you feel like, I literally think that's why like they like the Green Berets, like why they get the name, like you're the best of the fucking best, like why you like, oh dude, they have that fearless like fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like I have that like mentality, like we're like, I'm just like, I'm gonna tackle this, like, and if I can't, like I'm gonna fucking retrace my steps and fucking hammer at it again. Like there's got to be a way through it, like, you know what I mean? If there's not a way through it, there's a way around it. Like there's.
Was it you that talked about Extreme Ownership by Jocko, or was that Patrick?
No, someone else. It's probably Patrick.
Have you read it before?
No, is it good?
It's amazing, and he's like, he was in
I have to jot that down.
I think Jocko was a SEAL, right? I think he was a SEAL. I don't remember, but Jocko has like all this like military experience, and so he wrote a book about like, you know, military engagements and how like, you know, extreme accountability, where, you know, if you have a chance, like, yeah, I think it's an amazing book, so you should check it out. But
well, how's it Jocko? Like
Jocko Willink, it's Jocko, and I think Willnk, I don't know, something like that.
I'll find it.
Yeah,
cool,
but it's sick.
Yeah, dude, that was like that David Goggins one for me. They're like,
it's exactly like that. It's basically like that. But
that was like one of the best books I ever read.
Yeah. I don't know. There's like the reason why like there's just so much about this particular topic that is like so.
Yeah, we ended up back on it, like, you know what I mean. And ironically, it wasn't even the initial talking point. Like we were gonna go over, because we were gonna talk about a bunch of shit here today. So.
Yeah, but no, I it's so like mystical to me, because like I feel like that's not like the key to life, but I feel like that is like the alchemy thing. It's like as soon as you get that, it's like, and then everything's up to you at that point. So it's like
it's your dude. That's why I love The Alchemist too. That's such a good.
The Alchemist is a banger,
dude. That's a book you sit down and read in like a day. Like it's
dude,
it's
and you can read it like once a year and still get as fired up as you did the first time. Like,
dude, yeah, you read it and you like, all right, like okay, like I don't know, it's cool. I just like getting fired up like that. It's a cool feeling. And you do, and you literally, it works so well. There's a reason motivational speakers are so fucking like they're around. Like, do you remember who was Reggie Dabbs? Dude, do you remember fucking Reggie Dabbs?
No.
Do you remember that guy that came to high school?
Oh yeah, I think I do. I just remember
Yeah,
like
dude,
how people were fucking they loved him, but I don't really remember much of what he said.
dude, it was a joke because I think his name was I gotta look this up and double check. I'm pretty sure his name was Reggie Dabs, and that's what was laughing because they were like, oh, it's like mids like hash, like
It's the dude. I never even pieced that together. That's funny. No,
yeah,
high
yeah,
school is a
Reggie
fever
Dabs,
dream.
motivational speaker, yeah.
Wow.
He's one of those sought after public school and event speakers in the United States. Yeah, I
No
remember the
way.
dude, but yeah, he was like super inspirational. Dude, but how the fuck do I remember that dude's name like that many years later? Like, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's certain people like that. They come in and they just like fucking yell at you for like an hour, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
fuck yeah, dude, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But it's nice, like even that's why like Patrick told me like start doing books on tape, like if you aren't reading. Like that's another
Oh,
thing. Like
okay.
so that was another thing. So that motivated me. I'm like, oh shit, I could be driving and reading a book. I never
Right.
thought about that. And people, that's not cheating. If people think that's cheating, if you spend 46 hours listening to something, that counts as reading the book.
It's still work when you have to sit there and listen to it like in
Yeah,
like actively.
yeah.
Like
So
yeah, I'm not on the audiobook like tip yet cuz like whenever I drive, that's usually when I only listen to music, or like when I work out I'll like maybe listen to podcasts, but that's like where my balance comes in cuz audiobooks, like I don't know about you, but like the active reading is like
no, I like
fun
that.
to
I
me.
like
You
the
know what I
act
mean?
of it. But I read that Green Lights one is what got me. I'm telling you, and it probably wasn't because it was Matthew McConaughey narrating it.
Yeah.
But when you get a cool book like that where the author's narrating it, I think it speaks so much more because you get to hear their vocal inflection, and that's why
Yeah.
like I think cancel culture and shit's so prevalent too because we don't really hear that and like pay attention to that enough, and we see
Right.
text and headlines, but dude, vocal inflection is so fucking important. You can take any sentence or even a single word like yes, like you like
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
like you can change it like
That's
you
why I hate
could.
texting, dude. Like
Dude,
that's
it's awful. You get people be like, dude, I've had people come at me sideways, like hard as fuck. And I'm like, yo, chill. I'm like, I literally meant nothing by that. And like,
yeah.
literally, I've gotten phone calls over. I'm like, and I said like what I texted them, like with my like voice. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, that's what you meant? I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah.
exactly.
And
Like
they're like,
repeating
oh.
what you say can just disarm the situation,
And
but it's like
it's incredible how you can like misinterpret things. And that's why I do like hearing audio versions of things. And I never thought
yeah.
about it that way, but it actually does like totally changes the way. Like you almost have to read out loud. Like if you're by yourself, like read the sentence
Yeah.
out loud. If it sounds funny. Yeah. See how it sounds like. Because it really does change the way it could change like I mean literally the whole meaning of it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like if anyone is given like due process in the cancel culture, like it's people like full charity is like listening to someone's like them in like every single like facet and not just like a single message that's frozen in time. Like that's what I
Right.
hate about it. It's like I shouldn't say I don't think that anyone is like I feel like 99.99% of people are actually like redeemable, and like maybe I'm just like more compassionate than
Oh
like
no,
other
I
people.
100% agree. I think there is. I would say that's probably a fair amount. I wouldn't say it's like fucking pure L positive. I think there's some
Yeah.
people that like genuinely don't give a fuck, but
I agree. Yeah, that's I
I
know a
think
few.
some people just need inspired. I think it's like more like a 90-10, but
Yeah, and it's also like it's like sending someone to prison where it's like if someone who was like got sent to prison for like I don't know possession, and they go to prison and they actually become like you know morphed by that culture. So it's like someone gets like
no,
canceled.
it's literally, dude, that's like my biggest thing. No, that's we cancel out our own citizens, and like that's the most fucked up thing I think in the entire world. And this is like this has always been like I don't know. I'm gonna get on a talking point here real quick, but fucking I think that is like if I like make enough money and retire, like that's gonna be my fucking free time. It's gonna be prison
Really.
reform. Like if it's not done by then, which it should be, but fucking holy fuck, dude, it is awful. We imagine like caging someone up and treating them like an animal. They're gonna behave like an animal. I mean, we've
Right.
done studies on it. You look at it's disgusting. You look at every other country how the prison systems function. The United States is pretty fucking terrible, and we're almost like archaic and behind in our times. Like,
Don't we have? I think we have a larger prison population than China's
yeah, I don't.
military or something like that.
I would take that with a grain of salt.
What do
I
you mean?
wouldn't. I wouldn't take their numbers or their
Oh,
figures. Yeah.
okay.
I mean, they force like people into concentration camps and shit. So like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if
Nothing
you've seen
suspect about that.
I don't think if you're seeing the removals of people testing positive for COVID and shit of them like
I
literally
didn't see
putting
that.
dog collars on people and shit and dragging them
Yo.
like yeah, like it's really bad. It's literally
Yeah,
like Monsters Inc. Like it's literally like I've seen videos that are like that.
dude.
It's like crazy.
But they're on everyone's payroll, so no one says shit.
Right, but yeah,
Give me
no.
1 second. I'll be right back.
What were we talking about before the show? I want to talk to you about this. The identification for vaccines.
Oh, yeah, like making public record of it.
Yeah, public record
Okay.
identification. Yeah. So like, what the fuck happened to HIPAA?
All right. The
Yeah.
reason. Sorry.
Yeah.
Keep
Go
going.
ahead. Go ahead. Explain it, because you kind of like you come from that background, so you
Well,
probably have a good. Yeah.
oh, I don't know like the intricacies of it, and I need to be like really careful because of YouTube's like policies and stuff. We can't just like
Right.
pontificate over it like we would.
Let's just say like word it like correctly. Then the idea that was thrown out there that would be
Okay.
to make IDs or put on your driver's license or like passport some way of identifying if you've been vaccinated or not.
With the like COVID vaccine.
The COVID-19 vaccine.
So the reason why I personally wouldn't advocate for it is because I don't like restriction of travel based off of something like that, and I don't like something like that being mandated across the board. And like obviously that's not like the case as it is right now. This has a possibility. It's being talked about.
Our current. Do you know? Like this might be like a phone a friend. Do you know our current vaccines mandated by any like I mean, I guess
they might be in like certain workplaces, but I don't think like you have to go and get it.
Well, I know nothing's like obviously displayed on like your ID or anything like that. So
yeah, but like
that's kind of I could have answered that question myself, but
yeah,
yeah, that was kind of a dumb question because I know that I got the anti-vaxxers, so obviously it's not a mandate. But
so yeah, it's like
I know they talked about making that a mandate though. So it's like, is it one of those things that can you mandate, or does it become one of those things where you even go into the feminism where you say my body, my choice, and you say, do I have the right to choose whether I want to get vaccinated or not?
Yes.
Now that's another thing where we go, how far are we gonna go with like this shit? Like
yeah, like I'm not against like, and here's the thing is why I hate like Twitter and social media as it is right now. It's because like you have people who, it's like you have people who are like legitimate anti-vaxxers and like they I mean like I come from a science background, so like anti-vax to me is like not very scientific, but like I can understand some of the concerns.
Bro,
but,
you
like,
should honestly have Erica on. Like she would like I know it might be like a little controversial, but like it's interesting to listen to. Honestly, I don't like totally like knock it. Like
I mean, that definitely would be, but
both sides of everything. But yeah, no,
I do listen to it because I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, you don't believe the science, sorry, but like it's like
okay, but like until you address every side of everything, I don't care if it's religion or like from any aspect of life, like you got to really address like every angle of things, like to get a true like view of it. Like
I agree.
Like,
so it's like
there are two sides of a story and like come up with your own opinion, obviously, like right, you have to hit both aspects of it.
There's like I forget which philosopher quote, but it's the mark of an intelligent man is one who can entertain thoughts without believing them or something like that. And like that's exactly what it is. It's like people have like their ego is so big that they don't even want to think about asking a question about like the safety of a certain vaccine, when it's like it's totally okay if you do. Even if you have science background, it's like you asking a question is okay.
I'm kind of concerned about that. This is the fastest a vaccine's ever been mass produced in this quantity.
Like to me, that's a valid
ever in history. I think as right now, in terms of risk management for myself and my personal life, I think like risk management wise, it kind of is a huge question to ask, because like how the fuck did they roll out a vaccine the fastest? I get like the exponential increase in fucking technology over the years, but healthcare really hasn't increased like fucking by all leaps and bounds in the last like 10 years or so, in my opinion. Like I could be completely astronomically wrong.
Yeah, I don't know enough, but
I don't know enough. It's just like, you know what I mean? I still go to the doctor. He's still using the same shit for my physical, so it doesn't seem that different.
Right.
So what should I call it? Yeah, but it was like kind of like freaks me out, like saying like, oh, like they're really pushing for everyone to get this fucking vaccine. I'm like, dude, what the fuck's in this thing? So like I looked up vaccines the other day. I'm reading the shit. Formaldehyde. I'm like, that goes like fucking preserves dead things, like fucking not good. Mercury.
Yeah.
I'm like that like toxic heavy metal. I think there was lead in one of them. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, I was reading this shit. I get they're all in small quantities, but I'm like, why does that need to be in a vaccine?
No, I
don't know. It's
like,
shit that's like way beyond my like again, I'm just reading a fucking list of ingredients and like I'm asking those questions. Like again, maybe I haven't asked the right people. Like I'm sure like probably someone from a pharmaceutical background, but I mean, I don't know. This shit freaks me out. The fact that like, I mean, people like pushing for it, but then again, the cancel culture coming in too, though. So now if we get cancel culture mixed in with not only fucking everything we do in our regular lives, now with our health and our fucking personal health, I'm like, dude, this is turning into the new world order. Like, this is like, fucking you have no free fucking will anymore. You just go with the fucking flow, or you're
Yeah, because a lot of the people that we're talking about, the people who like want to like bash someone who like asks a question and like, immediately put them in a box as like a conspiracy theorist or like an
right, yeah,
anti-vaxxer.
like
It's like
fucking tinfoil hat. They got the fucking the pointy hat and shit.
these are all people who are doing it like strictly out of fear, and it's not virtue. It's like they're just so scared of getting canceled themselves. So it's like I'm gonna be the first one to like dismiss you
To
as
ask
something
them,
like
yeah.
this because first of all, like I'm not gonna say it's an intelligence thing because like I know fear would override that, but like I know a lot of people couldn't like they don't want to risk them looking a certain way to their friends. Like I had this conversation with Tejas when we did our podcast when it's like I know so many very guilty white people who like have said some like pretty like nefarious things regarding race, and I know that they were so pressured to put Black Lives Matter posts on their Instagram, but I know that it was completely out of fear and it wasn't genuine at all. It's like these people that we see online who are doing that, I feel like it's the same sort of thing where it's like I'm doing this for social clout, and it's not like me flexing, but it's like look how virtuous I am. Like I'm on the team of science. Like I'm on the team of like social justice, which is like this should be something that it should be like
Well,
a
everyone
given.
wants to be on a side now. Like why can't there why
Okay,
can't there
but
just
before you say that, I just want to like clear up my point because it's just like the people who think that they needed to opt in into social justice or they needed to opt in to like science is like the thing that pisses me off the most because that should be the standard. So it's like people who are making this culture of being like, I'm not racist and I believe in science. So it's like, stop doing that because like that needs to be like the standard. Like I don't
that's
feel like
normal. That's
yeah, like I
normal.
don't yes. So it's like
That's what I've always thought was like normal. You know what I
yes.
mean?
But now
And
it's
I
like
think
I need to like lay claim.
that's what most people that's what most people would think would be normal. And I think that's why there's this mass confusion because people are like, well, I'm not racist, but like this
Yeah.
person's telling me I am, so oh
Yeah.
fuck. Like you know what I mean? But it's like,
Exactly.
oh, I asked a question, so now I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
And then like, dude, there's always like a fucking label or a team, and it's like fucking no, you're allowed to ask a question or have an opinion without like
Yes.
fucking getting like absolutely bastardized. Like
And the shit vanishes immediately if you have a one-on-one conversation
with the
in
individual.
isolation with someone that's not on the internet, not on social media. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, it's like
It's typically a moot point. Like it's a
it's
non-issue.
dude, the
Yeah.
mob is like
The
insane.
mob is real right now. The Twitter mob.
As real as it's ever been,
Dude,
dude.
they're not the doxing and shit. It's unhealthy.
Dude,
They're fucking
that's what scares me the most. Is like
well,
people
dude,
who it's like
that's what like literally I'm glad I have the second amendment over fucking doxing because like literally people who dox are actually fucked in the head. Like
I think
you're
that's the most like nefarious thing that you can do to someone in like the modern day because you just like
you put random and innocent people's lives in danger. Someone's dad got shot over a fucking swatting, I believe.
yeah, it's
And
always like a knee jerk thing too. It's like
yeah, and I remember hearing about that. I don't know if that was in Australia. There was I forget where
I've
the
seen
fuck.
people's dogs get shot because of swatting. Like
Yeah,
it
dude,
sucks, dude.
awful things. It's so terrible. Like the swatting and the doxing and like, dude, it's
Yeah.
just like
That is
people
like actually traumatizing too if you get kicked
children
in.
and shit. Like, and again,
Yes.
and even going to that extent, the fucking extreme, like the far right, the shit. Did you hear the shit they did to Dr. Fauci's family?
No.
Holy fuck. They
What happened?
terrorize this guy. Dude, they have to have the Secret Service around him 24/7, him and
Holy
his family.
shit.
His little kids. There's
See,
people that
that
say,
extreme is like something
death
that's like
threats to his
worth
little
of like
kids. Yeah.
yeah, that's like okay, that's fucked up. But
Well, no,
I see the
people are
point.
just so fucking whacked out, bro. I think people are so legit like whacked out now. Like there's a sense where people are so like self-righteous that they're like, oh, you need to do this or I'm gonna fucking attack you. And then
Yeah.
dude, so I was reading this thing and it literally was it was a non-violent like group, this fucking Twitter page, and this guy goes, no, he goes, we're violent now, like or something like that. It's like it's our turn. Like, oh no, it was
Yo.
fucking I don't know. It was a really weird article, but
Okay.
it was kind of funny. It was going back to the protests in was it Charlottesville?
Hmm. That was the
Yeah.
far right one? Or the
Yeah, but then
yeah.
the far left is like, oh, like us like just getting along isn't good enough. It's like about like fucking no, it's like violent action and like fuck. I was reading this article, I'm
Yeah.
like what the fuck is going on? I go, you guys just
Yeah.
I go, if you want to have a so like, and then I start reading comments from people from like Britain and shit, and like they're saying that like, dude, we're literally facing like individualism, like civil war over here right now. So
Yeah, I
like
agree.
they literally
Yeah.
are saying like people want to like fucking come up with these like unique labels and like fucking everyone. It's all about labeling and picking teams and picking sides that creates like a social civil war. It
And
really
all that
does.
shit is non-existent in the real
It's
world.
non-existent. It's all literally fucking like
It's not real.
it's almost like a fucking the Stanford experiment in real life, bro. It's like everyone getting defensive.
Honestly, kind of, yes.
Dude, it's literally everyone getting defensive to the point where they're like, okay, I want to be on this side when shit hits the fan. And like that's what everyone's lining up.
They're hedging
for.
bets, yes.
Yeah, they're hedging bets. Like, okay, well, this side's right. This side's right. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, if we want to place fucking odds, like, I mean, Barstool's gonna I might as well just go all in on Penn right now. Like, I mean,
dude, like the two sides too are also like an illusion. You don't have to pick a side.
If we're gonna, I think as a society, super stutter, as a society, the only way we'll like succeed going forward. Holy fuck, was that tongue twister? Pause. As a society, the only way we will succeed going forward is if we can come to like mutual fucking agreements on things and come to common grounds. I think that's the fucking common sense, like that everyone's
tightrope. Yeah.
Balance, tightrope, bingo. Balance in society, balance in life. Yeah. I think we're on a pathway to a good World War III right now.
Yeah. Like I feel like it's super weird because people are so like concerned about like censorship and like rightfully so, but it's like these people who like are censoring and we feel so pressured to act a certain way. Like these aren't like ruthless warlords. These are like nerds behind the computer like dictating. It's like a few hundred dudes who are
dude,
like
every single kid that I know or every person that I see to the left depict as like a super Trumper I know or somebody like I know one kid who like literally is like the scrawniest little shit. Like I'm a fucking skinny dude. I mean he got suspended, like he's younger than me, fucking got suspended from school for like wearing Trump flags, Trump hats, all that shit, just to instigate. He's just a fucking instigator. And I think there's a difference between being politically advocating for someone and then being an instigator by like
being like a troll, a
total fucking troll. Exactly. You're looking for a reaction, like obviously when instigating. But then, dude, these people they're depicting you're characterizing them perfectly. They're like little fucking keyboard warriors, and it's on both sides. Like you see these fucking keyboard warriors. But the scary thing is now we have a fucking alt left and an alt right, which is fucking. And now it's so prominent. Like they're like, who the fuck is who? You're like, you don't even know.
That too. They're almost like blending at a certain point because it's like.
And now that Trump's not president, guess what? Now we're gonna have a fucking super crazy alt right. They're gonna get nuts. They're talking about creating their own political party. Like remember the Tea Party movement back in 2012?
Oh right,
yeah. They had the Tea Party. Like, dude. So I don't know. Shit's gonna get all fucking crazy again. It's nice having a couple days of normal. I will say it has seemed like this
true.
Past couple days like not hearing his name even. I was like fucking
exactly that. And it's
dude, I'm
weird.
like so sick of it. 4 years of just fucking jamming it down my ears and fucking. I'm like, oh my god, I don't even want to fucking. I just stopped watching the fucking news.
Yeah, like I felt like the entire world felt more calm, like regardless if you agree or not. But it's like when the transition happened,
it was like a storm ended. I can say that.
It was like thank fucking God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like regardless of political views, I'm glad that this era is over.
Period. Oh, I was completely,
Although like the social media ramifications are still standing, but
yeah.
But like for me, it's like this thing about like we're talking originally about like possible mandate of vaccines is that like I don't like the standard that it sets because like there's a lot of things where I think about and I'm like I'm okay with this happening because I'm gonna be dead in like give or take 6 years, like assuming that we're into like the life expectancy. But it's like
you're give or take 6 years.
60.
Oh, 60. I thought you said 6. I'm like, damn, what happened?
Shit. No, I'm not trying to die like that. But yeah, so it's like I could live with this because I'm gonna die, but it's like, well, and this is sort of getting like the triteness of like, well, I don't want like a world like this for my kids. Like I don't want my kids to like be raised off social media off rip. Not raise them, but like have access to social media pretty early.
Oh, I've had kids.
Like that scares the shit
dude,
out of me.
I will never. I saw that post yesterday. I agreed with that so much, dude. I will never fucking have an iPad kid. Definitely.
Like that's dystopian as shit. Like yeah.
I wasn't allowed to have my first cell phone until I was 13. It was a flip phone. I'm gonna totally pull a boomer card on my kids and fucking.
I have to too. Like
dude, they're gonna get a video now. They're gonna get individual episodes of like fucking Zoe 101 that I like have saved. So
you used to watch like 2 VHS tapes and Zoe 101. That's like all you get.
You get like that was your Christmas gift. Was 30 minutes of a TV. Like you know what I mean? It was funny. I was talking to my buddy about that. I'm like, you remember that shit we used to get? Like they get a Walkman. Like you get a CD, bro.
Yeah. No, but like the reason why, like, I'm not an alarmist or someone who wants to fearmonger, but like stuff like this just sets precedence and it evolves to a certain point. So it's like we live in an era where we don't need to like fight back physically. Like, we're not in physical danger, but it's up to us to like say no. But if we can't say no, like on a large scale, like we can't personally tell, Mark Zuckerberg and them, like, I don't like this change, but like we can start like in proximity around us. That's like, I think like, I shouldn't say this. Like, since we're gone off like physical survivability, like we don't need to hunt for food and stuff like that. Like, I feel like the new survivability is being able to like hold your own. Well, yeah, we might need to pretty soon, but like,
no, we should. I think that's way healthier. We have these meat farms. They're terrible for the environment. We revert back to hunting for food. Way better, way healthier.
Hey man, I don't know anything about that. As long as Wendy stays open,
greenhouse gases, bro.
Yeah, well, that's all conspiracy.
Cow farms. No, that's true. Green New Deal. Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, methane
gas. Yeah, you'd be surprised. I think 19% is from.
No, it's a lot. Yeah, it's from cows.
It's from cows. Yeah.
Cows. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as long, like, I feel like something like the a tetanus shot for kids should be mandated. Like something that's like tried and true. Like, it should be mandated. But if like I have the same concern as you, where it's like I have full belief in like science, vaccine science. Whereas like,
oh yeah, no, I
believe in science.
I talked to my doctor after I talked to an anti-vaxxer. I called my doctor. I actually specifically remember this call. So I was very drunk and it was like 11 o'clock at night. And she's like, "Why the fuck are you calling me?" And she's cool though. She's like, no, like they're so full of shit. Like my doc, because I brought up all the points that they made about like increased rates in autism and like all this stuff like that. Like they're like, oh no, like there's certain fallacies I think that exist out there, but like I think there's certain concerns that exist too. And like there has been fucking people have bad reactions. I found out I had a bad reaction to a vaccine, the MMR vaccine when I was younger.
Okay.
My mom told me, yeah, I almost fucking died. Like I had a really bad allergic reaction. Yeah, like I had to
get. You want to get red pilled on autism real quick? The rise in autism.
Yeah, like I mean,
flame retardants. They're not vaccines. It's flame retardants.
It's flame retardants.
Yes, I'll probably find an article and post in the description.
Wait, like what do you mean? Like fire retardant? Like
yeah, like the polymers that like make up flame retardants. Like there are so many things like. If you talk about like Dupont, there are a few documentaries out there and like in YouTube videos where like
workers
like Teflon.
And stuff?
No. So like something like Teflon, like Teflon was Dupont did internal testing to see if Teflon caused cancer in rats. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if that's exactly it, but they knew internally that it did cause cancer in rats. But then Dupont like denied any sort of thing, and so. Back then, like Teflon lined the inside of like popcorn bags, like microwavable popcorn bags.
Oh, really?
So yes, like there are like a few like.
That's where like that whole thing gets to, like where popcorn causes cancer comes from.
Yeah, so like some investigative journalists like asked like the president of Dupont or whoever it was, or like, would you ever feed your kid microwave popcorn? He was like, I would never answer such a personal question. But it's like because they knew that like.
Yeah, what they're making, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like Teflon, like it'll like the dust will like stay inside. So it's like when people hear.
Oh yeah, like silica, mesothelioma, like asbestos and shit.
Yeah, like there are so many like products that like not saying that they're expedited through testing, but it's like there are things that we're finding out today, like through research, that like these things are actually like linked. I don't know about causally, but they're definitely linked.
Everything we use like that. That's a mesothelioma you hear about. Like I'm trained in that for like abatement, whatnot.
Okay.
I mean that was used in everything. That was a fire retardant. Asbestos is fireproofing.
Right. Yeah, asbestos is perfect. Yes.
Silica.
Mm-hmm.
So silica's another big one, yeah.
But yeah, so like when you hear shit like when people say like, oh well, this vaccine has mercury something. Well, it's like there are so many important things about like there are so many scary sounding names in a lot of these like chemicals that they put in vaccines, but it's like at the end of the day, like
it's
what really matters is like the amount.
Mercury is isn't mercury naturally occurring in like some foods and shit even like.
Yeah, so it's like if you would have to take like
too much tuna fish or something.
Yeah, there was like this description where it's like a single. I don't know if again this is gonna be me fucking it up, but there was a comparison where a can of tuna was like at least, I don't want to say the amount, but it was way more than what was in a vaccine. because like these amounts that are in the vaccine are like parts per billion sometimes. So it's like they go
Yeah,
below like a certain like
it's a
level.
small fucking dose.
Yeah. So it's like you imagine like someone who lives like on like the West Coast or something who like likes fish and is eating fish all day is gonna have like thousands of times more mercury levels than someone who just, you know, cops a vaccine. So
Or someone
like
who has a
thousands,
seafood allergy.
yes. So it's like the things that like sound scary and like sound like are very like spooky or something that like you need to like pause for a sec and like understand all of the dynamics around it. So, and that's what I don't like about people who, you know, because same thing goes on like the anti-vax thing where it's like people are so high and mighty off that like they aren't willing to like have conversations or listen to anyone who it's like wants to show them like the science.
But yeah, that's what I don't like too, because that anti-vax side is like, because they obviously have a strong opinion, because like they're not going to vaccinate their children or themselves.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's an extreme on both sides, but I think it's interesting to hear both sides too. So I mean, it's two people who are never going to agree with each other, no matter what you say.
Yes. Because no one's listening. Because people are waiting for like trigger words, and it's like as soon as the opposite side says a word, where it's like, I got my Twitter thread that I memorized, and I'm gonna school you, bro. So it's like that's like no one's gonna listen. So that's why. But the reason like I keep going back to like entertaining both sides is like the balancing, because it's like at the end of the day,
you gotta have it.
Yes, and like you can like learn holes in your own argument, and you can, you know, like improve about that, and like there's like, and this is gonna sound so like reduction.
That's a positive you take out of right there. Yeah, just fucking you're improving it. Like if you take both sides, you learn better ways to argue it, and like
Yeah,
I mean that you can't have like a perfect argument without a devil's advocate. That's like you got to almost have that. Like if it doesn't, that's like I think the biggest thing that I think people are trying, like I would say the moderate right are trying to explain to like everybody about like fucking statues and shit like this. Like we have to be like somewhat like lenient and like kind of like have devil's advocate with our views from the past and like what exists now. Like you can't erase shit that fucking happened or existed, or like even though it opposes what we believe in now or views now, like
that's even if our values are 100% against it, it's like you are.
It's a good reminder. It's a great reminder of like
exactly. That's to me. That's like you are burying your emotions, right? It's like
it's like fucking. That's how I've always viewed it. Like that's what it's for. It's a reminder. It's like
that's how I viewed it too. So then like removing Trump and Home Alone 2, it's like, or Home Alone, it's like why? To me, it's like, dude, really? Like I don't know. Like, that's the most like hollow. Like I don't know. But that's like to me, that's like this is like erasing history. Trump is in Home Alone. You're erasing history, but it's like. To me, it's like if you're gonna go out of your way to like digitally remove Trump,
that's almost petty. That's like petty to me.
Yeah, that too. But it's like it's just like a precedent setting. It's like, dude, stop. Like no one is asking for our history to be erased. It's like like we have these statues of people who, you know, like Christopher Columbus, for example. It's like, well, that's our history, and it stands here today like to remind us of that our values are much less savage.
He was a scumbag. The only reason kids liked him is because he get a fucking day off school. Like I mean, it was like literally like everyone knows he was a savage. Like
so
like I mean we learned a nursery rhyme about him, like was it 1492 Columbus sailed the ocean blue or whatever. There's like you know what I mean, there was it was the way we were taught, like it was, and I get it was, and we look at him, you get older and realize like, oh, he was kind of an asshole, like, and we learned that in school too, like he isn't fucking praised, he's not taught to be praised, like, but like then you see that statue and you realize that. I think sometimes a negative reminder is like, I mean, the same thing I always say is like, I learned from my mistakes. Like I learned from people like that. Like that's fucking, like that's an awful fucking person. That makes that person makes me want to be empathetic towards the people he hurt. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's how you think.
Yeah, exactly. It's motivating because like this is how far we've come.
It has the opposite effect. Like I don't think anyone's like celebrating them.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I guess people could look at it both ways. So I could also be a devil's advocate with myself there. So
yeah, like if I don't want like a statue of fucking Hitler standing anymore, but it's like, you know what I mean? It's like so there are like definitely like I can definitely see the other side, like for sure. But I don't like the act of erasing history period, as I guess is what I'm saying. It's like I understand that these things like definitely are valid, but it's like I want to know like the restraints behind like how we continue to do stuff like that, because like I don't know. But
I mean, we're already like, I mean, you got to look. I forget. I was talking. Someone told me this the other day. It was like the greatest extinction that's ever existed is the human race. I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? But like the great extinction of life on Earth that's ever existed was the advancement of the human race. If you think about that.
You mean like
the general extinction like of animals and of like
Oh, I see
of
what you mean.
like overall life on Earth, like it's from humans.
Yeah,
Like we're the greatest like
we
extinction.
shaped the earth
Like
more than I think
extinction
any.
causing, yeah, than
Yeah,
anything that's ever existed. Correct. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's like we really like. I mean, it's important. Like think about that. Like if you take a step back and think about how fucking powerful you are over the course of billions of years, like that's fucking mind blowing. Like
yeah,
so it's like I think it's really important like to fucking take some like accountability and shit. You know, I think
yeah.
that's like the best way to put it. You know, take some accountability, like, but and start realizing the shit that goes on right in front of you. I mean, if there's a conspiracy, fucking listen to it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like
You're not gonna die or get sucked
you're
into
not
it.
gonna die. Yeah, like fucking. There's maybe you might hear something that fucking makes you ask a question, or like you know what I mean?
Right.
Like. But fucking yeah, and if there's a straight shooter and you're a conspiracy theorist, that person lives by the book. Fucking let them live by the book. Who gives
Yeah,
a shit?
exactly. It's not.
Guess
Yeah,
what? That person's following the rules. They want to follow the rules, let them follow the rules. Like
yeah,
I like to question everything. I fucking always do. I always have.
yeah.
Fucking that's
But
naturally how I'm gonna be. Like I prefer to until I'm 100% comfortable with something. I'm not gonna like let it into my life. You know?
yeah, and I feel like if you are, authentic in yourself and like you enjoy, not enjoy, you appreciate other people living out their authenticity. You don't want to try to like change their, like, unless you like something is objectively true, which is like very hard to like ascertain nowadays. But it's like
Right. You have black like
if they're
that
about to
wall.
hurt themselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like then I'm gonna change their mind. But it's like if they're like an advocate for something and like I don't agree with it, like I'm not gonna make it my like passion to be like let me change your mind and why I think you're better suited for this. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
dude, no, I don't get that. And I think that's something like I see that a lot with especially with like the boomers and shit too on Facebook. It's like dude, you read these comments and like they're fucking hilarious actually to the extent where like you're never like they don't get by the second they commented they were never gonna change that person's mind from the first place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dude, and they don't realize that they'll go on 63 fucking comments later and they're 20 steps backwards and there was no fucking like ground one or
Right.
ground phase or it just fucking blew up. It's a clusterfuck because you can't argue with a fucking a side. It's just a fucking
Right.
side. Like you know what I mean? It's just you
Yeah.
can have a
Because
you can have a conversation. See, that's the punch. You can have a conversation, but you can't
yeah.
just fucking this like the way people approach things. I think it's the way you approach it. Again, the authenticity of the way you approach it, and like fucking, there's so much like attacking. Just like
Yes.
chill.
And I feel like at the end of the day, like what made me like I guess like not humanize things, but just like being able to recognize. Like it's really like a lot of the times like it's really just like an ideology that's affected certain people and it's not like something to be taken personally, you know what I mean? Like people I think like take a certain ideology, whether that's like conservatism or like I don't know, being like a leftist, and like they like just like form an identity around it. And so when it gets challenged, it's like, well, this is like my ideas, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like you are just like a node in an ideology, and it's like you're just like you know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be taken personally. Like what is you is something that will never be able to like be taken away or be like, you know what I mean? Like that's a little bit too spiritual, but like that's what I believe.
No, that's true. It's wholesome. It's like yeah. So
Yeah.
it like no, I get what you're saying.
So like I think like the importance of like, and like I'm bad at this, so I don't even know why I'm saying this, but like the importance of being able to like reassess and let go is like the most important
extremely,
part. Yeah.
extremely.
That's why like I don't know if you meditate. I know we talked about yoga before, but like I
Yeah,
started to do this.
Oh, it's a cool thing.
Yeah, like I started to
It's freaky how deep in your head you can go.
like
It's
when you do
almost
yoga or
no,
meditating.
and meditating. It's like it's
Oh, right.
weird. Yeah, you can get like super deep in your thoughts, and then you can also like get to complete fucking silence. Like, but
Yeah,
it's like
and it's like
weird.
a profound experience. It's like whoa,
Dude,
I can get this silent. Like what the
dude, absolute silence. I call it a flat line. Like it's literally absolute silence, like white noise, and it's almost like a buzz. It's like a buzzing sound or something like. But like it's
Yes,
fucking.
yes, I
There's
hear
nothing
you.
there. Yeah, it's just like it's like the grays on a TV. That's like exactly
Right.
what I would call it. Sounds like it's all like it's like when the fucking you don't have the cable in all the way or whatever. It's
White
just the gray,
noise.
the white noise. Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
gray little dots. It's just like fucking.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I felt that hum before, but yeah, it's like I started listening to just like waves sometimes. Like I'll do like guided sound, not guided sound meditation.
Waves are the best to do it because the most I meditate is probably at the beach is where I really get to that like tranquil state
Yeah,
where you literally like you can't think of anything.
yeah,
Like you can't like when your thoughts are literally so at ease that you're just like it's absolute. I'd say it's absolute peace.
I think it's the closest thing that I've ever experienced to absolute peace personally. So
It's a beautiful thing. I can't wait. That's what I love.
yeah.
Like that's my happy place. Hilton
But the
Head.
thing about that is that like, and I know this is like a stretch from what I was just talking about, but like to get to that point requires you to let go of every single thought that is popping in your head as you're doing that. You
And
know
it
what I mean?
it requires a lot of discipline on a fucking daily basis too.
Yeah. I
Like
had
I
to
mean,
practice so much before I
you
even
gotta
got something like
you
that.
gotta control, dude. The ability to fucking like actually sit down and have that like calmness is like, you literally have to balance your life out in general. Like you gotta
Yes.
fucking that issue that happened fucking 2 weeks ago that someone said to you, like that can't still be bothering you. Like
Right. You
you
have to
gotta
address it
text
right
that
then.
person, call that
Yeah.
person, yeah, or address it right then. And by not addressing things as they come up, you're making them 10 times worse. I
Mm.
believe sleeping on something's a good thing. Like maybe giving it a little bit of time
Yeah.
and then readdressing it. Like if their emotions are too high, but like fucking, dude, holy shit! Like people
Some
dwell on.
emotions gain interest sometimes, and it's
Yeah, dude, it's like they compound. It's like holy fuck. I remember this was
yeah.
over like Skittles and like you got a Glock. Like it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, just like obviously bullshit scenario, but like it's just like the vast, you get what I mean though. Like like people are coming in like heated, like ready to fucking throw hands over like this literally happened to me, like fucking a miscue at like a fucking bar. Like I literally pulled my mask down and talked to someone and a bouncer fucking like He-Man choked me from the back of my neck because I
Yo.
pulled my mask down. I'm like, what are the repercussions of you coming closer to me and fucking grabbing me by my throat to like where I lost my voice? Like I was like, what the
Damn.
fuck? I mean, this dude's huge, and like, and he like fucking threw me out and chased me like over. I'm like, dude, it was I literally went like beep, and like, of course, after he assaulted me, like I had a little verbiage for him, but
Right.
yeah, but it was like, dude, I don't know, dude, it's like stupid. Fucking,
Yeah.
you gotta deal with things as is, or else it pents up and you get fucking psychos like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like it. Just like it again. This is one of those things that like leads me to just like to pause because
You start thinking.
yeah, because I'm like, this is actually so prevalent. Like I don't know, like there's so much like practice that took place. Like I didn't start to get like what I would call like profound meditative experiences until probably like doing it for at least like 2 months for 10 minutes every day. So it took me like a long time to
Did you
just like
notice
faith.
did you notice any patterns in your sleep too changing, like with like being able to meditate, whatnot, and like
I
being
would
able to
wake
get
up in the middle of the night and I wouldn't have racing thoughts. Like my mind would be like dead silent. I'm like, whoa, I like
yeah,
this a lot. But
yeah.
my main
Dude,
thing,
when I handle my shit, I realize I dream less even when I handle my shit. Like in a
yeah,
day,
actually, no, I was gonna say the same thing because like I feel like
dude.
your mind's processing less.
Dude, it's like literally like I fucking don't wake up and I'm still in like a whole nother, because I can have some crazy, like I think that has something to do with like some hallucinogens I played with in high school. But I literally had some crazy fucking insane dreams where I can like astral project, or like to call it fucking lucid dream or whatever.
Yeah,
There's a bunch of different terminologies for it. But you basically can control, like walk around, have your own Sims essentially, like fucking like
yeah,
your own life, and like it's like fucking sometimes crazy, but then like when I'm at my best, I feel like absolutely nothing. Like it's just like blank.
mm-hmm.
Like I'm out cold, wake up, go about my day, go back, boom. I just become like, it comes a flow state. I think that's the
Yeah,
best way to probably put it. Is becomes a flow, like it becomes a natural, like you found your balance and you're walking on the fucking tightrope,
mm-hmm. I hear
and
you.
then like yeah, it just keeps going smooth.
Yeah. So I'm like, I am like, this is some like these
Crazy.
topics are some of the
Yeah,
most like hype things to me because like they mean so much to me. I'm like, yeah.
makes me want to go get high and go watch Cops.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's if anyone's listening, and they haven't meditated. Like it's like
Check
for
it
some
out.
people,
Yeah,
it's very
it's fun.
very hard. Like it's gonna be hard, and like you have to have faith that like it's gonna click in one moment, but like that
Yeah,
click could take.
and you're probably gonna feel goofy, dude. I felt goofy the first time I sat down and actually did it.
Yeah, like I look like a
Dude,
fucking
because yeah, you get that little judgmental phase. You're like, all right, this is a little
yeah.
fucking
But
okay,
after
like
that, it's
yeah,
gone. Like the
you
yeah,
stupid fucking hippies. Like, all right, and then no, then you do it, and you're like, okay, that was actually really relaxing.
yeah. Like okay, they're onto something. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's crazy, dude.
yeah. Like I feel like
The
the people who need it the most, the people who are like C
most
level
judgmental.
exec. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say like business people and like
Oh, they
people
are
who are in
100
the real world. Like yeah,
because they're the workaholics. They're so fucking stressed out all the time. They say the
yeah.
ones that say they never stop working.
Right.
They're
It's
like, when
like
yeah,
let's
like how many
dissect
hours?
that, bro.
Yeah, how many hours do you work a week? I never stop working. That's
Yeah.
not healthy.
Yeah. It's like you're not
Like
hard,
I
bro.
could say that, but like so I got into trading and shit. But like guess what? I learned that when my emotions get high, I make bad decisions. So I I shut everything off.
Yes,
Like,
sir.
I'll take a sleeping pill, go to bed. If I'm trading, like last night, Bitcoin tanked last night, like 10 grand. Terrible. All the way to 28,000. Was about to panic sell. Fucking dude. Literally, I decided to buy. I ended up buying in super low, made like fucking 4 grand a day.
W.
Genius fucking play. So I let my emotions like calm down.
Yeah, because you're in control and you like,
I
you
could
stop
have
time.
freaked out. Yeah, but like I stopped, actually put my phone down for a couple hours, let it actually crash even worse, and then took an opportunity to buy the dip.
That's awesome. That pause let you make more money too. That's cool.
Yeah. See? Learn lessons. Learn from mistakes.
Dude.
What up, Kyle? What's going on, buddy? We're podcasting.
What's good, Kyle?
It's my buddy Christian. We'll wrap it up here.
Kyle and I know each other. Shit.
Do you know? Have you met Big Kyle?
No,
Not
I
Kyle
have. Minor?
Oh, yeah? No, not Minor.
Oh no, I don't know who that is.
No. It's my buddy Kyle. What up,
what's
bro?
up? What's up, Kyle?
Yeah.
How are you?
He's saying what's up.
Yeah, but shit. No, we can wrap up.
All right, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. No, dude, this was a blast.
Fucking pleasure. Yeah, I know we went on a bunch of super tangents, so this is gonna be nice to see how you chapter this one out.
Oh no, that's gonna be. I gotta take like an Adderall to do that. Oh no.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one to listen to. But
okay. All right. Well, it was a pleasure.
Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Hell yeah. All right. Peace, dude.
Peace.